Ryan Cole, thank you for the time. And cross-country NCAAs are upon us. The men have qualified by finishing fourth at regionals. The women did not. Let's talk about the women's race. They did so well at the Mountain West regionals, right around kind of where people expected them to finish. Your take?
Yeah, I think we wanted to build throughout the season, and we had a pretty young team. You know, we went to the conference meet, you have 5 freshmen out there. We only had 1 senior in our varsity group this year. So I think we got better throughout the season. That culminated at the conference meet. We had our best race of the year. We felt like we could keep that momentum going into the regional meet. That didn't occur, and I think sometimes when you have a young group that's kind of continuing to develop and grow together, there's still a learning curve there, and sometimes your outcomes aren't quite as consistent until you get more fit and you're at a higher performance level and you just have more experience. But there were a lot of positives throughout the year on the women's side, particularly how they improved and competed at the conference meet. We feel like we can keep that momentum going forward. But yeah, this is the first time in 6 years that we haven't had a female distance runner at the cross-country Division I National Championships. And so that's a bit challenging, you know, but at the same time, I think we look to the recent past and we know the level that the women can compete at, and so we're very determined to keep that going, and this group will be back there.
For sure. Let's talk about that kind of before we get into the men specifically. But, you know, last year, Michaela Norris, you know, arguably one of the most decorated of your athletes, although there have been many. You have one runner, whereas even with the men this year, it's been really by attack. It's been by a group, by staying together, by running together. What's the mentality? Is there a different mentality between, hey, I'm going to win this race, or hey, we're going to win this race?
Well, I think we always talk about cross country being a team sport, and you know, if you're not doing your part, it doesn't just impact you. You know, that impacts the experience that everyone on the team has, because every person that we bring into the program, we expect them to contribute to our success. And so everyone contributes, you know, and I think in any sport or any organization that's true. Not all of those contributions are as constructive as others, and so you have to find ways to help your group be successful. You know, one of the lines I like to use, you're either helping us or hurting us, and so we try to identify what each person can do to help, and we really focus on that development so that they're contributing to our cause. But I think when you have one athlete, whether it's a Hannah Everson or Michaela Norris or J.C. Smith or Maria Metler, we've had a few instances in our recent history where we've lost someone that was running at the highest level, whether it was Hannah Everson being an All-American or J.C. Smith or Maria and Michaela. And then we've come back off of that, and the team has actually performed at a higher level the next year. And it's not because those people went away and it became more team-centric. It was really because of the example that those people set, and it takes time for a group to follow that lead and develop. And so our big challenge, I mean, we're actually, in a way, as far as capability or potential, we have probably better depth on the women's side in our younger classes right now than we've ever had before, but it still takes time to develop. And so we're confident they'll get there, but I think the examples of how hard Michaela competed, how committed Maria Metler was, how just all-consuming this was for, I mean, J.C. Smith was about as committed as you could be, and Hannah Everson was an extremely tough competitor. And that's not to mention the women that maybe didn't reach All-American status, but without them, we wouldn't be the program that we were or that we are. And so there are numerous examples of that, but it still takes time for the women on the current team to follow that lead and develop to that level.
Certainly makes sense. Now, the men finished fourth at regionals. Amazing. Accolades for that. Fantastic. Great job. They're conference champions. Obviously, there's a lot of them that are helping, because I'm not hearing one name each and every week as the top guy.
Yeah, it's really a group of guys that have been very similar to some of those women I mentioned. They've been committed to this for a while. It didn't just start in August. It didn't start last June. It's been building for years. And so you get the right personnel. They have to have the ability. They have to have the willingness or excitement to it. And then when you start to kind of channel that and give it that time, once it develops, they become very, very good. And we have a group of guys, and they're still not running as well as maybe we're capable of. And we have one more race this season, you know, to see what we can do. But they've been just a very committed group. They have a lot of fun just coming down to practice every day. I think they look forward to going out and training together, to spending time together. They're very close. They work very hard together, and they really compete for each other. And again, that goes back to cross country being very much a team activity, a team sport. If you're just out there running for yourself, you might be able to be pretty good, but I don't think you're going to be as good as you could be if you were running for something greater. And it doesn't, one thing I love about our sport, it doesn't have their name on the jersey. It says Air Force. And so they're out there running for our program, they're running for each other, they're running for the men that have come before them, the guys that are going to be inspired to come after them. I mean, it's pretty neat. And so we're hopeful that this Saturday is a reflection of the commitment level and the care that those guys have.
That being said, this Saturday, what is the obviously you want to shoot for a championship, and you also have to have your head about you and realize what your capabilities are, because you don't want to burn out either. So how do you approach this race?
Well, we've been, like you said, we've been very good grouping up and working together. We have a few people, I mean, on any given day, really, anyone can lead that charge, but there are a few people that we kind of key off of to set that tone, and then they, you know, as the race plays out, they kind of work together, and, you know, somebody's feeling good, they start pushing, they start moving, and then, you know, maybe even if you're not feeling that good, you still don't want to be the guy to fall off the pack first, and so you dig a little harder and you stay on, and if everyone runs to their potential or their capability, we can have a group that all comes in a relatively short timeline or a small spread, and if we do that with our guys up front where they're capable of being, I think we'll have a very positive team outcome.
Should be fun. Ryan Cole, congratulations on a great season so far, and hopefully you top it off with a cherry on top this weekend. Thanks for the time.
Greatly appreciate it.